Champion of Light, a brand new Alan Wake perk that gives you 50% haste when shining a flashlight. It also makes the killer hindered for 6 seconds after you blind them, which makes this perk for 2 people, the sweats and the trolls. People like you and me, this perk ain't for us. I've been using this perk non-stop over the past week, and there's been some good moments, but there have been plenty of bad moments as well. A lot of people consider Champion of Light to be the best perk that came with Alan Wake, but I'm gonna let you in on a little secret. I'm not convinced. I'm gonna do a deep dive on this perk, but more importantly, we're gonna put Champion of Light through our trademark 1 to 16 star rating system. Champion of Light has 2 effects, and we're going to break them down individually, starting with the 50% haste while shining a flashlight. This boost to speed is noticeable, and it gives you some nice mobility when shining a flashlight. This perk allows you to mimic the king of pop himself, moonwalking around the map. But unlike Michael Jackson, we only have to deal with the entity, which isn't remotely as scary as his hometown, Gary, Indiana. The moonwalk stunts are a nice tool to add to your toolbox. If you ever hit a dead zone, you'll have an extra trick up your sleeve because you'll be able to pull out a mid-chase blind. This kind of stuff is super risky though. I struggled to get flashlight stunts regardless. Now add in the pressure of a chase. Yeah, it's not happening, Chief. Outside of the mid-chase moonwalking, the increased mobility does help lining up regular flashlight stuns. I paired this perk up with background player, and I was having a lot of success getting flashlight saves. But using this perk on a regular flashlight save kind of feels like overkill. It's like renting a limo for prom just to take your date to Applebee's. If you were worried she wasn't going to be impressed by your shitty Kia Sorento, what makes you think she was going to be impressed by a 2 for $20 deal? I'd recommend either getting better with moonwalking stuns or just leave this perk at the main menu. The second effect this perk has is making the killer hindered for 6 seconds. This is way more appealing to flashlight casuals like myself. I will say a pallet stun into a blind buys you a good chunk of time in a chase. If you're going to slow down a killer that much several times throughout a chase, you're going to be turning 1-gen chases into 5-gen chases. Chases are like a parking meter, and eventually the time on the meter will run out. But Champion of Light is like sprinting out of the breakfast joint to toss 2 quarters into the meter because you see the meter made 2 cars away. The extra time in a chase could be the difference of you making it out alive, but it does feel like a little bit of a waste if you're only using this perk for that reason. In the past, I've been very critical of the community's obsession with the perk Adrenaline, but when making the argument for this perk strictly on the hindered effect, I can't help but to think about how much more valuable Adrenaline would be when it comes to buying yourself more time. This perk has a bit of a learning curve, which makes it tough for the average survivor to get a lot of value from this perk, which is why I feel like the most likely adapters of this perk will be bully squads. Giving a bully squad more utility with a flashlight is dangerous, kind of like sitting an 80-year-old woman in front of one of those virtual slot machines inside a truck stop. It's not going to end well. Not only will bully squads be able to blind the killer mid-chase, they will probably get more aggressive trying to flashlight save when a killer is carrying a survivor. I think trolls will also enjoy this perk for no other reason than it's fun to mess around with. You can basically stay facing a killer the entire chase and stun him when he gets close. Because the killer becomes hindered, you will also have enough time to create some space and start the process all over again. You can also just get some goofy movement in general, and I know some people are into that, but not me, so now let's talk about the average survivor. This perk does not feel natural at all. You'll have to go out of your way to get value from this perk, but once you do, I'll admit, it's not useless. The hindered status effect to the killer is a great ability for any survivor, but more specifically, it's the mid-chase blinds that really helped me appreciate this perk. It's tough to put a rating on Champion of Light as a whole, but we're gonna give it 7 out of 16 stars, which I think is pretty solid. But if you want to see my entire unhinged experience as Alan Wake, watch this video right here.